What if I told you the man who literally invented hip-hop, the genre worth over $20 billion a year, no platinum plaques, no royalty checks, no stadium tours, just a legacy so enormous that every rapper who ever touched a mic owes him everything, and a life so painful it almost erased him completely. His name is Clive Campbell, but the world knows him as DJ Kool Herc. And on August 11, 1973, in a recreation room in the South Bronx, he threw a back-to-school party that accidentally changed the entire world. This is the story they never fully told you. Clive Campbell was born on April 16, 1955, in Kingston, Jamaica. He grew up surrounded by sound system culture. Massive outdoor parties where DJs stacked speakers taller than buildings and commanded entire neighborhoods with bass lines you could feel in your chest. That culture lived inside him. When he was 12 years old, his family immigrated to New York City, settling at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the West Bronx. The neighborhood was burning, literally. The South Bronx in the late 1960s and early 1970s was a war zone of poverty, gang violence, and landlord arson. Whole city blocks were being torched for insurance money. But in the middle of all that destruction, Clive found music. He was tall, athletic, and magnetic. People called him Hercules because of his size, and that got shortened to Herc. He started throwing parties in the community recreation room of his own building, charging 25 cents for girls and 50 cents for guys. A teenager, a set of turntables, and a dream that nobody had even imagined. August 11, 1973. The party at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue starts at 9 o'clock at night. His sister Cindy throws it as a back-to-school fundraiser to buy new school clothes. The flyer cost $0.25 to get in. But what happened inside that recreation room was a revolution nobody saw coming. Herc had been studying the records, specifically the break sections, those short instrumental passages where the drums hit hardest and the crowd lost their minds. He had a theory. What if you could extend that moment? What if you could loop it, keep the crowd in that peak energy state indefinitely? He had 2 copies of the same record. He called it the merry-go-round technique. Later the world would call it breakbeating. Break on Bongo Rock by Incredible Bongo Band. He held the crowd in an endless loop of pure rhythm. The dancers, who he called B-boys and B-girls, moved in ways nobody had ever moved before. Word spread through the Bronx like fire. Herc's parties became the most legendary events in New York City. Africa Bambaataa was watching. Grandmaster Flash was watching. A movement was forming that would eventually reshape global culture. But here's the question nobody asks. If Herc built the foundation that the whole empire stands on, why was he the first one left behind? Here is where the story gets ugly. As hip-hop exploded through the late 1970s and into the 1980s, as record labels started signing rappers and producers, as Sugar Hill Gang dropped Rapper's Delight. In 1979, and made hip-hop a commercial reality, Herc was nowhere near a contract. The music industry moved in and picked the bones clean, but it picked everybody's bones except the man who invented the feast. Part of the problem was structural. Herc never recorded a defining album. His genius was live, visceral, in the room. You had to be there. That didn't translate to royalty structures. But there was something deeper and darker at work too. As his contemporaries, Flash, Bambaataa, and eventually a new generation including Run DMC and LL Cool J, gained mainstream recognition, Herc faded from the spotlight. Then in 1977, everything shifted in the most violent way possible. At a party in the Ecstasy Garage in the South Bronx, Herc intervened in a fight to protect a friend. He was stabbed 3 times. The wounds were serious. The recovery was long. And when he came back, the momentum was gone. The culture he created had moved on without him. Smaller venues, less money, and a growing dependence on substances that would haunt him for years. The man who started it all was slowly disappearing inside a story that had become bigger than he was. By the early 2000s, DJ Kool Herc had become more myth than man. Hip-hop historians revered his name, but mainstream audiences barely knew his face. Then something happened that forced the culture to confront what it had done to its founder. In 2011, Herc was diagnosed with kidney stones, a serious medical condition that required expensive surgery and ongoing treatment. He had no health insurance. He had no savings. The man who sparked a multi-billion-dollar industry couldn't afford his medical bills. When the hip-hop community found out, the reaction was immediate and emotional. Artists rallied. Benefit concerts were organized. Online fundraising campaigns brought in donations from fans worldwide. Snoop Dogg, Questlove, and others stepped up publicly. It was a beautiful outpouring of love, but it was also a damning indictment. The culture that Herc gave everything to had accumulated incomprehensible wealth on the foundation he built, and he had been left with nothing. The medical crisis passed, but the deeper wound, the question of how the originator of the most valuable music genre in the world had been systematically excluded from its financial rewards, that wound never fully healed. So what did the world actually owe Clive Campbell? The recognition eventually came, just decades too late for it to mean what it should have meant. In 2013, New York City officially designated 1520 Sedgwick Avenue a historic landmark. The building where a teenager threw a back-to-school party for 25 cents became a protected cultural site. In 2023, when hip-hop celebrated its 50th anniversary, DJ Kool Herc stood at the center of those celebrations. The Kennedy Center honored him. A U.S. Postal Service hip-hop stamp was issued. The Recording Academy paid tribute. He received honorary degrees and lifetime achievement awards from institutions that had once completely ignored him. He walked those stages with grace. No bitterness on his face, at least not publicly. His breakbeat technique is now taught in universities.
Scratcher, Grand Wizard, Theodore.
The merry-go-round is studied as a foundational innovation in music theory. Every DJ on Earth is working inside the framework he built in that basement in 1973. His influence runs through Kendrick Lamar, Jay-Z, Drake, and every artist who ever stood in front of a microphone and called themselves a rapper. The culture loves Herc now. It just never paid him. And that distinction, between reverence and compensation, is the most honest thing you can say about the relationship between hip-hop and its founder. Here is what most people never talk about. The party on August 11, 1973, the night widely credited as the birth of hip-hop, was organized by a girl named Cindy Campbell, Herc's sister. She needed money for back-to-school clothes, and she had the idea to throw a party and charge admission. She designed the flyer herself. She handled the money at the door. Without Cindy Campbell, there is no party. Without the party, there is no breakbeat. Without the breakbeat, hip-hop as we know it simply doesn't exist. Cindy has spoken about this publicly, and historians have acknowledged her role, but her name almost never appears in the mainstream narrative. The founding moment of the most dominant music genre in the world was made possible by a teenage girl who needed school clothes and took matters into her own hands. Hip-hop was built by a community, not a single genius acting alone. And the fact that we keep telling it as a single-man story says everything about which parts of history we choose to remember. So the next time someone asks you who invented hip-hop, maybe the answer is more complicated than one name. DJ Kool Herc gave the world a genre worth billions and walked away with almost nothing. Drop a comment below. Do you think hip-hop has done right by its founders? And if this story hit different, subscribe to Hip Hop Bar, because next we are going inside the untold story of Grandmaster Flash, the DJ who took Herc's blueprint and turned it into science. You do not want to miss that one.